All right, good evening, everybody. This is David Rutz with David Allen Capital and DAC Healthcare. It's February 11th, and we're excited to bring you this live webinar about our DAC healthcare service. And someone asked you to take a look at this, or as an agent, you've been asking others to take a look at this because maybe this is a service that you're interested in pursuing as a customer, or maybe you're interested in pursuing this from a profit standpoint by making an impact in America, providing this great healthcare service to millions of people who need it, and also offering it to business owners so they can be heroes and make it available to their employees. So whether you're coming to make an impact by marketing this or coming to protect your family by using this, we want to be able to speak to you this evening and cover the information you need. We've also been premiering and promoting, I should say, a brand new strategy, a financial strategy we're going to unveil in this slideshow that I'm very excited about. And we've already been talking with some people about it just privately here without even any slides, just kind of unveiling what we're leaning toward, and the enthusiasm and the excitement is really there, and we're really excited about it. But what I'm most excited about tonight is we've got the pleasure to have one of the top representatives, not only in this company, but in this industry of home-based sales and direct marketing, multi-level marketing, network marketing, or entrepreneurship. This is an individual who is an ambassador with the company called Longevity, who's our partner company. Many of you know that name. But he's an ambassador, and that means he's one of the top 5 representatives in the entire country. There's over 100,000 active representatives. He's in the top 5, he and his wife. And I got to tell you, in the industry-wide, I've watched a lot of trainings, and he and I joined a company together in early 1990s that trained us both on how to open local markets and help educate people on how to start a business out of their home. And ever since that time, he's been a home-based business success story. He's also gone on to start other businesses, and he's been an entrepreneur even out of this industry. But he's done very well, he and his wife, for a reason. They lead with integrity, and they believe in what they do. And because they believe in what they do, they share what they believe. Well, he's on tonight as our special guest, and I'm going to introduce you to him in a second. But about 1.5 years ago, he called me and he said, "Hey, Dave, Juliet and I have been using this healthcare service. It's amazing. We were looking around. We wanted to find something that was a good product for us. This has been fabulous for my family. We've already used it. We're saving money. We're protected. Would you guys consider, hey, maybe this is something you can make available to longevity distributors or DAC agents, make it available to them to use, just like I am. I mean, it's something to think about." And I said, "Well, it's funny you say that, Scott. We're looking at launching a service to market to business owners, not just have for internal use, but to market to business owners, and we were about ready to launch it. So tell me what you got." But I mean, we've already got something that's probably the best out there. And so he said, "Well, hey, if you do, great. Maybe I'll switch over to that. But let me look at what you got. You look at what I got, what I'm using, and if you've got something better for my family, Juliet and I will switch. But if not, maybe this is something you guys want to use or market, whatever's best for the reps." So I took a look at their service. This is just over 1 year ago, this SBA Protect Plan. And looking at that service, I realized it was better than what we had on our table and better than what we were going to launch. And the reason we hadn't found it yet is because it was a smaller organization that was just launching. And they said, "We want to help you guys in the home-based business space. What do we got to do to make this plan even better, to give it everything you want so that you can take it forward to all of your agents and have the confidence and enthusiasm to market it?" And all of those people are on this webinar right now. But the first person who brought it to us is Scott Fardulis. And Scott has been a leader, as I said, in the longevity nation. He's been marketing. He's got an organization that spans all throughout the world. At 5:30 a.m. this morning, he was on a conference call with Asia. He'll be on a conference call late night tonight with some other country. He's been to Australia. He goes to Mexico. He does it here in the United States. He's got an organization literally throughout the world. But right now, he's focused on this service. And he's really leading his strategy now and moving his whole team's focus, those who are interested anyway, into this. This is where he and Juliet are most focused. So we were talking last week about his enthusiasm about this service and my enthusiasm. I said, "Hey, let's team up and do a webinar." So here we are. And with that, let me just introduce all of you to share a couple words before we get started. Mr. Scott Fardulich, you there, buddy?
Hey, David, I'm right here, my friend. It's great to be on this Zoom, this call, this webinar with you and so many other people from around the nation. And what an exciting topic. And I thank you for your kind words and what a powerful introduction. And you're right, David, I was just thinking, man, do we go back that far? And in fact, we do, to like the mid 90s is when we first became aware of each other and acquainted. And, you know, ever since that time period, and in particularly over the last 8 years, my respect level for you was always high. It is just off the chart. You know, just watching you in action and seeing how you communicate and the energy that you have, the posture you have, the creativity that you have. I mean, thank you so much. My respect level is off the chart for you, and it's great to be on this call with you.
Well, thank you, my friend. And well, let's get right down to it. Everyone came to see the healthcare, and if we were sitting around a campfire, we could tell stories and have a good time. But since we're here to talk business, let's get right into it. Folks, we're going to have Scott go through the features of this service to begin with, but we're going to be playing off at each other, just discussing and shooting. You know, we haven't rehearsed this. We both just love the service, and we love what we can do for business owners and for consumers. So we're going to go through it. So Scott, I'll turn it over to you. I'm going to start moving through the slides, and then you can go ahead and take the lead on this, and I'll follow
David,
up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, here's what's interesting for me. And I grew up in a very athletic family. So I was always raised to eat right and to play hard and to work out. And my dad was like a semi-pro baseball player for a little while. And so I always admired him and his work ethic around health and the care he took into being this fine-tuned machine. And that kind of carried over to me. So for me, the concept that most people have is, hey, do everything in your power to stay out of hospitals and doctors, supplement, eat right, get plenty of sleep. Just bottom line is take care of yourself. And we've been doing that. Me and my family, Juliet and I and our kids, we do that all the time. And you know what? No matter how hard we've attempted to stay healthy, there's still those times where inevitably we end up having to deal with stuff that we didn't know we were going to have to deal with. And that really begs the question, David. Don't you think the ultimate question is, hey, it's not if, but when. What happens when you need like serious and normal regular medical care, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's look at what that really takes into effect. So I've been an employer to upwards of 400 people, and it was always tough because every year the insurance people would come into our office with their really fine clothing on, and they would make this wonderful impression, and they'd lay out this wonderful case about why I was supposed to smile and do jumping jacks for the fact that our rates were probably increasing 10 to 20% year over year. And I always scratched my head thinking, how is it that they walk out with a smile and we're supposed to do the same thing? And now we've got to have this whole business strategy on how to make up for that 10 to 20% increase in costs. And when things are skyrocketing, across the board, here's what most people are having to face: increased premiums, super high deductibles, these little windows called open enrollment where you're supposed to slip through this little crack and find yourself on board with a plan. And then I always marveled at this as well, how smart these insurance companies are. They really are like the thought of Las Vegas, where the house always wins. And so people will say, well, I don't really want a high deductible to have to deal with, and so can I have a smaller deductible? And they're like, sure. So they raise your premiums, and you're like, well, I don't really want to have high premiums. That's messing with my monthly cash flow. Can I have lower premiums? Sure, we'll raise your deductible. So those are the two big silo containers that most people have to deal with. And as a result, as it says here, people are befuddled, they're confused, they're literally mad in many cases. And not only that, it's led tens of millions of Americans to make the conscious decision to just simply choose out. And I got to tell you, while it makes a lot of sense to do that, it also doesn't make any sense to do that, because at some point we're playing a very, very risky game and nobody wants to do that. And so I think what's great that has happened right here through DAC and YGY is we've got a way more effective solution that we've brought to all of us. And so let's take a look at that. So we have what's called, the Freedom Plans, and these are just really brilliant plans. I appreciate the thought that went in putting these plans together. So let me ask all of you a question. What if? So don't you just love the what if game? You know, if you close your eyes right now and just think what if, don't be distracted by anything. Literally think about these and own what I'm about ready to ask you. What if you could have 10, 20, maybe more percent savings in rates over premiums with our freedom plans every single month, making that budgeted line item go down? What if we had a less expensive and higher value proposition for everybody to take advantage of? And oh, P.S. by the way, I'll just tell you flat out why I am absolutely pumped personally about these freedom plans. David mentioned it earlier in the introduction. You know, I've got a family of 5, and I know that, you know, we were spending exorbitant amounts of money on healthcare with pretty high deductibles. That didn't settle so well for me. So we looked at other alternatives and other options. And ultimately, I was ecstatic to see that we had about a 60% reductions in rates versus previous premiums. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but I can tell you firsthand, financially, it makes a lot of sense. What if you did not have any deductible? No deductible. We are like, I mean, it's possible we're the only company offering no deductible right now as a solution. What if you didn't have to deal with open enrollments and we could customize something that made sense for you so that you could get health coverage at just the right time when you join the DAC/YGY family, and it was available for you coming through the door, so you could say, whoa, I didn't know that, and you found out about it too late? What if it was available to you on day number 1 when you became a team member to our company? Wouldn't that be cool? And what about this? How about what if you didn't have any pre-existing conditions? Think about that. Pre-existing conditions, who does that? Well, these plans do that, where we literally say, listen, we understand nobody has a perfect life and nobody has a perfect medical record. We'd love to welcome you into a family of healthcare where we can take care of you where you are. And what if you had access to a massive network, like a really respectable one? Here's what I've learned. A couple of things, David, that I've learned over time. You know, when it's not if, again, it's when it's your turn to need special care and you've got to go into the ER, urgent care, or go see a doctor for a specialist on something that's going on, the thing you want to know is, who do I have access to? Who do I have access to? Am I having to take a drive into the sticks because my rates are lower and I don't have a deductible? Am I settling for second class or third fiddle? No. PHCS, do your own investigation. This is like Verizon. We've got people and like the largest network. This is one of those, the largest network. They're everywhere, all 50 states. So talk about convenience. That's the second thing people want to know. Okay, I've got access, but is it convenient? Can I just drive down the block, or do I need to take a drive for a couple of hours? No, we are super convenient. And then ultimately, think about this. If you're able to go out and recognize this as you're building your business or using your influence, every single person you know, everyone, not some, everyone works for somebody. And all of them have an employer who is either making available or actually offering some kind of subsidy for you to have medical care, medical services, some kind of a benefits program. And what if ours actually gave money back to the employer? Don't you think they'd be happy? I mean, if no deductible wasn't a big deal, if lower rates weren't a big enough deal, if access to a monster network wasn't a big enough deal, just ask somebody this. When was the last time your health insurance company reimbursed you? And look at the expression on their face. It's just wonderfully magical. So those are the things that we can do. And oh, P.S. by the way, as you're referring, whether it's to the team you already have that's part of the DAC YGY family, if that's your referral, wonderful. But you know people outside of our family that need these services as well, and we'll get into it in just a little bit. I just want you to know that we pay extremely well to do that. So let's look more specifically. We are an organization called the SBA Freedom Protect Co-op. It's really a small business agency that is designed to work with anyone, all people between the ages of 26 and 65 years old before you go into Medicaid, and 26 is when you reach independence. We can help anybody, individuals, families, as well as corporations with people and employees. We are regulated by the federal government. This is an ERISA product, so catch this. You've got to understand the vernacular. It's so important. It looks like, feels like, acts like, and everything related to insurance, only it's not. Same networks, Same access to all the people we just talked about, all the benefits that you would expect out of a typical insurance program. But catch this, it's an ERISA. An ERISA is powerful. It's an acronym, Employee Retirement Income Security Act. Been around, regulated by the federal government, so every I has to be dotted, every T has to be crossed. It's tax compliant, it's ACA compliant, it's partially self-funded, and a co-insurance type of a program. Very, very powerful. Bottom line is it gives you about the most latitude you can imagine having. Listen, when you've got a built-in, 50-50 co-insurance with us, then you've already got a pre-arranged discounted fee for all the services that you go to get. We've already pre-negotiated about a 40 to 60% drop in regular hospital billing code right off the top. Add a 50-50 co-insurance on top of that, and it feels like we have a 75-20 or maybe an 80-20.
Scott, before you go in this, I just want to clarify. So this is one of the points that I just think is fabulous, and it gets some people don't necessarily follow it. So can you give an example of what you mean by the PPO contracted savings, the 25% savings off the top before you even go to the share?
I would love to do that, and I got just talking so fast because I know we want to honor everybody's time here, and so I'm moving through here quickly. But yeah, quick example, David. So my son literally just broke the cartilage on the outside of his wrist bone playing basketball, and we had to take him into the orthopedic center of the Rockies. It's part of the PPO network, PHCS. We went in there. And the experience is this: you walk up to the counter. Hello, do you have an appointment? Yes. Do you have health benefits, health coverage, insurance? Yes. Can we see your card? Yes. I pulled it out of my wallet, and I was so proud of it, David. So proud of it. I handed it with a smile on my face, and I'm just thinking the whole time, I'm in business for myself. I own my business. I own my time. I'm a network marketer. I've got a team of people, and for the first time in history, we have a health care plan. And I was so excited, I almost just started crying looking at this woman taking my card. And she looked at it and said, wow, we love this program. I said, really? She said, yes. She made a copy. We were led back. They did a physical therapy, an x-ray. They casted my son. All in all, it was about $1,950. Well, here we got to see it all in action. This is just a couple weeks ago. The bill came, and it was negotiated down by about half. So when I say 40 to 60%, the bill that we received was looking like it was about $850, and then our 50-50 co-insurance kicked in on that $850, and we were responsible for about $425. But here's where it gets really interesting, and we don't put this in writing because it's like an under promise and over deliver. We ended up paying about $130, so it felt like about a 90-10. And that's better than what we even talk about. Doesn't work that way every time, but I just want people to know that was the feeling. From that moment, we had about 30 days to pay the bill, voila.
So you went in, if you didn't have insurance, you would have paid $1,900 about for his injury. That's the cash price.
That's right.
But because you had a PPO network price, that brought it down to the 800. Then the 50-50 insurance took over, and there were some other things, and you ended up only paying just under 200 because you're protected. Love it. All right. Appreciate you covering that, buddy.
You got it. So, and people say, well, does this meet the Affordable Health Care Act that was put in place by Obama years ago? Yes, it does. Everything about that was removed with the last presidency here, the recent presidency, except for people with 50 or more. So ACA compliance is in place for that. It meets university codes to cover your kids that are going to school away. It covers everything from primary care, urgent care, x-rays, CAT scans, lab diagnostic things. You want a drug plan? We've got an awesome drug plan. It's phenomenal. There's co-insurance on the drug and the prescriptions. People want to know, can I access a teledoc? Yes, you can. I use one on myself when I was just down in Arizona about a month ago. I needed to call in. I needed some help. They said, do you want to FaceTime? I said, no. I got some advice. It would work just fine. Everything we do is through a PPO with predetermined medical discounts. Next slide. And by the way, vision is in here too. So we got a vision, we've got a dental, and we have a prescriptive program all built into one concept with one fee. No nickeling and diming, and I love that, where they're not going, oh, you want a prescriptive plan? That'll be X amount of dollars more. Nope, everything's predictable, and I love that. So how do you get to choose these plans? Well, it's right here. You want to go to this website and take a picture of this screen or screenshot this. You want to go to dachealthcare.com. You can read about the plans, look at the plans, look at what they cover, pick your level of coverage, the limits that you want. You can even watch a video that explains everything to you. And then when you still have questions, you can contact us, as it says right there, and someone will answer any technical question that you have in just a couple of minutes. So now that you've got that under your belt, you're going to receive a welcome email. Okay, you're going to be welcomed into the family. You're going to get your cards in the mail. A really cool envelope is going to show up. You're going to receive 2 cards, one for you, one for the other person in your family if it's a family plan. If you want cards for your kids like I do, make photocopies of them and have them put them in their wallet. So it's as simple as what I described. When you've got an issue, make sure that the person you need to go see is in the network, and our network is huge, so don't worry. And then just go show your card to the medical provider that you've made the appointment with, and you're going to find out that you're going to have a lot of help from SBA Freedom Protect, DAC, with your bills being negotiated, the discount rates, the co-insurance kicking in, and then a low final bill for you to pay within 30 days. It works about that simple. So how do you want to sign up? If you're not already part of DAC, there's a method to do that as well. You can sign up for free into David Allen Capital. You will be generated an ID number. Once you have your ID number for free, you go back into dachealthcare.com/your ID number, and now you're in your site. Once you're in your site, you are linked to the person that introduced you to the company. That's how all commissions flow. We'll talk about that in a second. And you can pick your plan. Any plans that are ordered by the 25th as an individual of the month, then you will receive coverage on the 1st of the following month. If you enroll with a plan between the 26th and the 31st, it will be the 1st of the next following month when your coverage will kick in. Billing happens on the 28th, as it says right here, so you can expect to be billed a few days before your plan kicks in, even if you sign up earlier in the month. So there's a few things to know.
Scott, real quick.
Yes.
Just throw this out. You had mentioned the 25th they can enroll by. That's if they're individuals. If they're in a company with the employee plans, the employer has to enroll by the 20th, so we have time to enroll all the employees. So
That's
individuals, you can enroll by the 25th, but companies would have to enroll by the 20th.
That is correct, David.
Cool. All right, thanks. I just wanted to clarify that.
You got it. Let's go to the next slide. So I think a lot of people know, my goodness, if this is so exciting, can I share this with other people? And the answer is a very, very loud yes. We want you to. You should do this. Listen, this is my 31st year in network marketing, the home-based business industry, the direct sales industry. My wife and I have owned our time for every single year of our marriage. And are we sorry? No way. I'll tell you the thing that we want more than anything is a huge organization of people that are consistently ordering what we have to offer. The number one thing that I've ever imagined or ever seen in 3 decades of time that I imagine would be the most consistent of any product or any service that we've ever represented would be healthcare plans. Never available in network marketing before, able to be offered to you, your downline, your team, and businesses at large that don't belong to your organization, and you can get paid a BV and a QV on every single person on your team and all of the groups that you introduce to the DAC healthcare plans. I'm telling you, this is bigger than big, and it's time to saddle up and put on the spurs and kick that pony in the sides, because you can go for a really fast run if you want to. And my wife and I have been doing just that for the last year, so to speak. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. It's affordable. We've got these great drop cards that are professionally put together. You can have a conversation with somebody. It tells the story of the things that we just mentioned to you in a quick, concise front and back, highlighting the key things. You have a conversation, put this in someone's hand and say, hey, here are the things that we just talked about, because you're going to have questions later on. Here's a website you can visit, and you can even get a quote if you want to for you, your family, and or your business. And there's a wonderful little flow here of what it looks like to get a quote. When you're on that website, dachealthcare.com/your ID number, somebody says, hey, I wonder how this compares to what I already have, or I just wonder anything. You can click the quote button and an automated, get this, an automated quote will be sent back to you and your upline and the person looking for the quote in a very short matter of moments. And that's automated. You will be tipped off that that's occurred. You will know, well, that ball is rolling. And then we've got agents that are fully licensed healthcare, health insurance agents that are standing by, able to answer questions, able to get technical with somebody, all legally. And get this, with that happening, this is so important that you understand this vernacular. You don't need to have a license. We have licensed professionals that are technically making this this sale happen for you. So please, please, please hear me on this. Everyone, listen carefully. You are not an insurance agent, nor do you need to be, nor do you need to pose as one. So please don't do any of that. There's no need to do that, so please don't do it. You are a referral agent, not an insurance agent. And because we're referral agents, directing people to websites and to professionals with health insurance licensure, where we can do business in all 50 states, there's just no need for you to have to worry about it. And yet you can be paid and compensated very, very generously, and even more so than sometimes the brokers in the industry. So just enjoy that and stay within those lanes. David, did I explain that well enough for your satisfaction?
I just want to add a couple things. You're doing a fabulous job. I love it. I'm being educated and inspired all at the same time. A couple points. The first step here, when they go to your website, again, your website is dachealthcare.com/your ID number. You can check it out after this webinar. You'll see your name on the top, your email address, your phone number. If they click request a quote, Scott just mentioned an automated quote system. That's in final stages of development right now. So as of right now, what you'll get is you'll get an email. They'll get an email saying, congratulations, thanks for filling out this quote form. And then you'll be contacted by the SBA team. And what we want you to do is arrange a call with the person in personnel or the employer, whoever's in charge of making that decision on that healthcare product, your client, your contact with the SBA experts. So they're going to be reaching out to you to help you organize that call, but it's your responsibility. Unlike all of our other business services where we say just send in the referral and get out of the way, this we want you to stay in and arrange that call, help make that call happen, and be educated during that call. Sit on that call with them as you listen to the experts promote. The experts will talk to the client leaders. The expert will even do a demo for them, even present to the employees if need be, all the while you're being educated. And then enrollment occurs, packages are sent, and you start getting paid every single month for the life of them using this QV, BV, and profit. Now, if you're part of the DAC family, you're saying, what's QV and BV? Well, I'm going to show you right now. It's part of the longevity, or what we call the DAC YGY residual plan, because all the DAC services that pay residual are actually paid through longevity. DAC pays the upfront bonuses, right, on funding and payment processing, but all residuals on payment processing and healthcare are paid by longevity. And so you need to qualify in the longevity pay plan with QV of 50 points up to 300 points personally. All right. So if you enroll on this yourself, you're going to get, if you're on the individual plan, you get 75 personal qualifying value. That means you've got 75 toward your qualification in longevity. Anyone who's in longevity right now, you already know what qualifying volume is, but this is personal volume. So this is if you order for yourself, you have personal qualifying volume. If you order for a family like Scott and Juliet did, you'd have 100 personal qualifying volume points. So you'd be qualified. And this every month as you're paying your health care, you're qualified in the longevity pay plan. Or if you're a DAC agent and you're checking this out for the first time, you'd be qualified to get your check in longevity every month just by being on the health care. It's pretty darn cool.
Hey, David, you want to know what my favorite part is?
Go ahead.
My favorite part is the fact that this is like the ultimate auto ship, you know, where you're not wondering if someone's going to use your product or service next month. They just are. And it's the most satisfying thing knowing that once you do that work one time, it's really the truest definition of predictable ongoing residual income. That's my favorite part.
And you know what? It's fabulous that you said that. And the retention rate is unbelievable. If you're in the home-based business space marketing a product or I won't say service, but a product, the retention rate, if you've got something that you retain 50 or 60% of your customers for 3 months, you got an amazing product. With this, the only way we're losing customers right now is if they can't afford to pay for it and they bounce their check and then they have to rebill later. We've only had a couple people cancel of all the people we've acquired already. It's amazing the retention. People keep using it, like Scott said, it becomes an auto ship. But that was if you internally use it or people in your team use it, there's BV and QV, right? But what about if you market it to a business? Like Scott said, everybody you know, even if they're not a business owner, they work for a business owner. So they can go get this healthcare, find someone up the ladder who can hear about this and make it an option. Unlike like with a phone service where you have to switch from Sprint to Verizon, with healthcare, an employer can offer many plans and let the employees decide. So just because they add this to their offering doesn't mean they need to stop doing business with Blue Cross or stop doing business with Aetna or one of the others. They can offer this as an additional plan to their employees. So let's talk about how you get paid if you refer a business to this. It's different than an individual in your team. So an individual in your team creates bonus volume and qualifying volume, right? And you get paid on the bonus volume. But this is what happens if you refer a business owner. When you refer a business, you also get paid personally because you acquired that customer on every employee every month for the life of them using it. Now, there's a 2-member minimum, but you get paid every single month. Now, check this out. Our average business, we talked to the SBA folks and we said, what is an average company? What can we count on? If the minimum's 2, sometimes you're gonna have 20, 18, 6, 9. They said the average is about 10. 10 individuals will be on a plan, all right? And they said it's actually more family plans than individuals, but we said let's just do this 5 and 5 for sake of this example. If you know you're getting $12 per month for an individual and $16 per month for a family, but yet you're getting per average business you sign up, you're gonna have 5 individuals and 5 families. You know what that turns out to be? That turns out to be $140 a month or $1,680 a year you would earn if you sign up one business that had 10 employees. So one in business with 10 employees and you're making $1,680 a year. That's not a bad raise, guys, for referring someone. But the key is, see those 5 individuals and those 5 families? Those are all people who are now protected and they're paying a lot less per month. You've put them in a better situation. And don't forget, all 5 of these are also producing BV and QV on both sides. So let's give you a little strategy here. Just want to make sure you understand this. Let's give you a strategy. Check this out. Help 3, get 3, through 3. You know what that turns out to be? Over 80 grand a year. And what does it mean? Help 3, get 3, through 3, and it's over 80,000 a year. Dave, you said it was 72,000. I know, we underpromised so we can over deliver. Here we go. What's help 3, get 3? Here's your first goal. Number 1, you figure out what it takes to get 3 clients. You stumble and bumble a little bit. You refer a couple people who say they want to look at it and they never call you back. Oh, well. And you talk to 2 other businesses and they go, heck yeah, we need this. You just keep talking to businesses. We're going to share with you what to say. You keep speaking to businesses until you get 3 clients. That's goal number 1. So that's get 3 clients. And if they average 10 employees each, 5 and 5, you'd be qualified with goal number 1. You got your 3, right? You'd be making over 5 grand a year, by the way, on this. So you just gave yourself a $5,000 raise by getting 3 clients. Now, if you can't get a $5,000 raise at your job that easy, maybe it's time to start talking to some businesses, right? Start talking to some employers. It doesn't have to be a business owner. It can be a personnel department. Just start spreading the news. And heck, this could be one business that's got 30 employees too, right? This is considering you have 3 businesses, 10 employees each, that's 30 businesses. So that's goal number 1. And you know, not only that, but you'd have personal qualifying points of 2,500 a month, and you'd be producing bonus volume of 2 grand a month. So let's go to goal number 2. Remember we said it's help 3, get 3, through 3, right? So now you've already gotten 3, but now you're gonna help 3, get 3. What does that mean? You've already got your 3, so you're qualified. You introduce 3 other agents, all right? Or you already have 3 other agents, representatives. You could have 30 of them. We're just saying help 3 of them do the same thing you did, get 3 clients. Now, if they do, they're all making 5 grand a month I'm sorry, $5,000 a year too, right? Because they got 3 clients, just like you did, goal number 1. Now, again, I must say, this is all based on 30 employees, right? 3 companies with 10 employees each, right? So if they've got that, they're each making $5,000 extra a year. Are they in a better situation? Heck yeah. Check this out. Because you help them, you just gave yourself a $6,000 raise annually. So you're now making $11,000 a year. You're making $11,000 extra a year because you went out and helped 3 employers offer this healthcare and help 3 other reps do the same thing. You don't have to have 650 people on auto ship. You simply have, nothing wrong with that. That's a great plan too. But you help 3, get 3, and you're making $11,000 a year. Why stop there? Well, so our strategy was help 3, get through 3, get 3 through 3, right? But wait, I want to show you one more thing. You'd be producing over 10,000 QV points just by getting your first level with 3 customers each and you having 3. And here's the math. For every personally enrolled agent you introduce that you help them get 3 clients, assuming they're all 10 employees, do you know you're going to make an extra $2,000 a year for every one you introduce that does that? They start for free with us. They go out and get 3 clients. You're making $2,000 a year. You recruit another person. They go out and get 3 clients. You're making another $2,000 a year. You get another person. And that's residually every year. And that has nothing to do with their team. It has nothing to do with their startup costs. They start for free. But we said help 3, get 3 through 3. So let's continue this. Let's finish this out. Your 3, what are they going to do? They're going for this goal, right? They're going to help 3 get 3. So they recruit their first 3. You'd have 9 now on your second level. Do we all know that not everyone's going to do it, right? Not everyone's going to go get 3 customers. So you may have to recruit 6 to get 3 who do it. And they may have to each recruit 6 to have 3 who do it, right? Maybe you have to recruit 15, who knows? But for math's sake, you help 3 get qualified. Even if only 20% of your people do it, well, then you'd have to go out and recruit, 11, 12 people. And they'd have to recruit 11 and 12 if only 20% do it. But let's just say you've reached 9 now. Let's say they all go get the 3 clients. Do you know what's going to happen? You're over $30,000 a year already. Come on, I just need to stop this right here. I've been in the home-based business space since 1991. And to be able to get to 35,000, I'm not saying anyone will make this way, just recruit 3 who recruit 3. But I'm saying if you go get your 3 clients, and then you recruit enough agents on your first level who you have 3 of them who go get their 3 clients, and they recruit enough people on their first level so that you have 9 on your second level who all get 3 clients, you're making $35,000 a year. These numbers don't lie. That is exceptional. We're not even through with the vision yet of help 3, get 3, through 3, and you're already making an extra 30. There's people graduating from college who don't make this money. They're spending 5 years in college, spending $100,000, coming out with student debt, and all they have to do, oh, Dave, I don't know if I can get 3 who get 3. Okay, cool. Enjoy your 6 years of college and enjoy your $100,000 in debt. Nothing wrong with that model. But my gosh, I think this is a lot easier than final exams. I think this is a lot more simple than going to that blue collar job every single day, doing that same thing, mundane thing that drives you nuts every single day, or even that white collar job where you're going to sit in a cubicle that you don't like going to every day. You're working for yourself. We say work part-time on your fortune while you're working full-time on your job. Get out there and do this part-time. Talk to some. It may take you 6 months to get your 3 clients. Check. It may take you another 6 months to have your 3 personally enrolled get 3 clients. Check. You're at $11,000 extra a year. It may take you another year to get your 9 to get 3 clients. Check. You're at $35,000 extra a year. And when this goes through one more level, you have just 27, not 27,000, not 2,700, just 27 who get 3 clients each, and your total income is over $80,000. Now, we're not saying you're going to go make $80,000. What we're saying is, if you had 27 agents on your 3rd level, most of you never will have that. Most watchers of this will never experience that. Most people who buy a Planet Fitness membership will never get in shape. It has nothing to do with the machines. Whether most people will ever make $82,000 doesn't have anything to do with the fact that this delivers. It has to do with whether they'll go out and deliver the clients. This is a commission plan. You help 3 who get 3 through 3, and you're over $80,000 a year. Now, if you fail that by 90%, you give yourself a $10,000 raise. Hey, how you doing? But again, we're serving clients, we're building giants, and it all starts with you getting your 3 clients. None of this matters if you don't get 3 clients, all right? So what I'm gonna do real quickly is I'm just gonna ask Scott, again, your website, everyone, is dachealthcare.com/your ID number. That's what you refer to employers out there and business owners. Scott, I'm just gonna ask you, you've had a lot of success already getting clients. Can you please, knowing we've got the drop cards and we've got the websites, can you give everyone a little bit of, well, first of all, do you wanna speak to anything I said on the scenario of help 3 get 3 through 3, because I'm just on a rant. And so do you want to touch on that? And also, can you touch on what you would say to someone you know that works for a company or someone in personnel or a business owner about our healthcare so they would consider our service?
David, first of all, there was no way if you paid me, I wasn't going to break your rant. That was an incredible overview of compensation. That's got to be the most exciting, meaningful, realistic way that I've seen to get to $80,000 a year. And you even underpromised and over-delivered with your statistic. So it just makes a lot of sense, and I've been following that model. So I've got members of my team that are out there on a daily basis making this an MO with their day. Who can I speak to that is influential in the business world, that has a small business, a medium-sized business, a large-sized business? Who do I have a connection to that would allow me to open the door to talk to somebody in HR where I could show them some savings? Where do your kids go to school? Where do you, go for entertainment? The bowling alley. There is, never-ending supply of businesses on every street corner. The hotels, the car dealerships, the restaurants around. I've met with dental practices. I've met with car dealerships. I've met with the hotel chains. I've met with sporting franchises. I've met with insurance companies and other brokers. I'm finding people in other network marketing companies that need a break, and they're looking for something with a little more pizzazz, and this makes a lot of sense to them. So my minimum daily goal, David, is to set an appointment personally with 3 businesses every single day. And my record so far in terms of meeting is 7 appointments where I'm actually doing the meetings. I've had as many as 7 fulfilled and accomplished appointments in one day. And I've got to tell you, the points are racking up. There's a lot of energy created around this. And as long as people understand that you do this one time and it is the best shot you have at a residual income, that's what I really want people to get and understand. And just like a traditional conversation, this is an easy thing to bring up because you can ask anybody, hey, if you're like me, you're probably paying too much in premiums. And what are you paying monthly right now? And some people don't mind talking about it. Or if you're talking to an employer, just say, when was the last time your insurance company gave you a reimbursement? And the answer is never. And how many years in a row have you gone without increased rates? And they say, we have rates increased every year. This is the 3rd consecutive year of this program without an increased rate. Every year, we give a reimbursement to employers on the claim account for the unused portion, and that's huge. It's really hard to compete against that. And I think the biggest thing that people should be prepared for is just the fact that because this is exciting, because it makes a lot of sense, because nobody's heard of it before, because it's different, just be prepared that people are just a little bit like eyebrow raised, like, really? Is this for real? Is this like no joke? Is this too good to be true? You're going to get those things, and it's okay. You'd rather get people so excited about it that they're doubtful than it sounds like the same song and second verse to every other program that's out there in the traditional health insurance world. That's no fun. There's nothing unique about it anymore. Does that make sense, David?
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. I muted this so we wouldn't have echo. I love it. So the key points, if I'm an employer or I'm paying healthcare, is that reimbursement, guys. If you don't know this, when people pay their premiums every month, when an employer does for their employees, if someone doesn't use it all, that employer paid those premiums no matter what. With our plan, any of the claims that aren't used gets refunded back. There's a claim fund, not 100% of it, but the claim fund gets refunded back to the employer, who can then pass it back on to the employees as far as reduced rates next year, et cetera. And if it goes over the claim fund, there's reinsurance that covers it, so the employer is never on the hook for more than they've agreed to, yet they could get money back if their employees are healthy and don't use the plan. It's unbelievable. Just that in itself, and no rates going up, those two things should get you an audience. I love it. Now, as far as the first conversations you have, can you give some suggestions on what people might experience when they're talking to some of these employer groups?
Yeah, my advice there, David, is, don't bite off more than you can chew. Sometimes people are driving down the road and they're like, oh man, it sure would be nice to have Coca-Cola. There's the factory right there. Could you imagine having, 100,000 people on a plan? And next thing you know, they're Googling the contact information. They're reaching out to people they don't know. They're sending emails, cold market solicitation. Listen, that doesn't work. As a matter of fact, you're probably hindering everybody else who has a legitimate shot at a company like that and cold calling. So please don't do that. Reach out to companies who you have a legitimate relationship with, who you have a warm connection with. So that's why I'm literally saying everyone works for a company, and so ask them. Can I help your company save money? Would you be willing to put me in touch with the person who makes the decisions every year for the amount of healthcare costs that they want to spend as a company? Could you imagine being a hero to your company by bringing the ultimate solution? I know you're not the decision maker. Would you help open the door to the person that is? I did that with someone a couple months ago, and they said, oh my word, these plans are great. We want to be on a plan. Then they went back to work. They wrote an email connecting me to the CEO of the company and said, hey, I just want to introduce you. This is my friend Scott. He has some knowledge that could be really helpful around our healthcare costs. And if it wasn't important or valuable, I wouldn't make a recommendation for the two of you to meet. And there was an introduction. That CEO immediately responded and said, wow, if this staff person of ours believes, wholeheartedly we take our staff seriously, I'd like to meet with you. They hopped on a plane and came to visit me. Little did I know they had over 50 locations with a 4-figure number of staff. And when we literally sat down and made comparisons, like here's what you have, here's what we can offer, there was savings in monthly rates / premiums. We use the term rate because we're in ERISA. Traditional insurance says premiums, so just to use the right vernacular there. So we showed them a savings in rates that was hands down less. We showed them an equivalent product, an equivalent program. That was exciting. They're making a contribution to their staff, David, and we showed them that because our rates were less, that their contribution was less. And then on top of that, the third thing impacting the bottom line is that claim account reimbursement. All in all, the savings to that company was a massive multi-$100,000 a year swing when all things were laid out side by side. It was irrefutable. You know what we're doing now? We're training those people and we're onboarding those staff members, and they're excited about what we have to offer. So how did that happen? Once again, was this because I had a connection? No, it's because I networked with someone at a grassroots level that said, hey, you work for a great company. Would you be willing to open that door? And so I networked my way in and wowed them with how powerful our program is. That is my best advice, is to use solutions like that. And I'm telling you right now, it's hard to make promises, really hard to make promises, but here's one I can make to you. It is a lot easier than you think to go set your appointments and get 2 to 3 people a day scheduled on your books than a lot of other traditional means. This is one of those topics that people want to talk about. It's not one that they want to avoid. They want to talk about this. We're talking about real dollars, real savings, real money, real benefits, and that's something that people don't want to walk away from. So my advice, have fun with this, have confidence in this. Like Verizon, you've got people, and you don't need to back down and feel inadequate or inferior to anything or anyone else out on the market right now. Rather, feel like the jolly green giant and you're standing head and shoulders above everybody else. Have that swag, have that confidence, and just start a conversation, and don't be shy about it, and let it flow.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I couldn't write those notes down fast enough. For anyone who's part of the DAC culture, who's been leading with DAC funding or payment processing, and the healthcare is the new add-on, Something we have different here, guys, gals, is we've always had to approach business owners. You couldn't approach an employee about business capital. We've always had to approach a small business owner. The difference is with this, we can approach employees, and we can, just like we put everyone we know on notice that we're now in business capital, we tell everyone in our warm market friend list that we're also in healthcare and ask them, just like Scott just said, who in your company is responsible for the healthcare decisions, that we might be able to show them how they can lower the budget they're paying every year and see if they can arrange a phone call. And Scott, you said 3 appointments a day. I love it. You're talking phone appointments first, having initial discussion, and then if that fits, taking them to your website and setting up a live meeting. Is that right?
That is exactly right, and I'm using Zoom, guys. You can get a free account through that. It's just very basic, and it's inexpensive, obviously, and you can get a lot done face to face using that method.
Okay, so video conferencing he's talking about. Love it, love it, love it. So hey, I'm going to move to the questions now, and some people, if something wasn't covered, folks, that you wanted to hear covered on this webinar, it's recorded, of course, and we'll post it tomorrow. But if there's something you didn't get answered, make sure you ask, because while you've got Scott here, myself here, and not only that, the experts from SBA are listening in. And if there's something we need to defer to them in, if Scott doesn't have the answer, I don't have the answer, I'll unmute them and let them answer. So let's go to the first question. This is a little bit odd, a different one for unique situations where someone lives in a rural area and there's not a PPO network with anyone really in their area. They say they only got one hospital. What happens if they're in a situation where they can't get to a in-network doctor? Is there coverage or is there not?
So David, one of the things you can do is when it comes to hospitals, you can go to any hospital. And then when it comes to needing to go to the doctor, you need to stay within the PPO and the network that we have for those doctors.
Okay, and can they go to an urgent care if there's no hospital within 100 miles of their house?
Yes.
So an urgent care would satisfy as emergency as a hospital, or should we, or is that a question for the contact us button? No,
Yep.
you say they can?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Well, there you go, Lee. All right, next question. Do I have to live in the United States to sign up for this health care? I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm living in Canada presently.
You can live in Canada. You can have a plan that is only good in the U.S. and you've got to have an address inside the U.S. as well. So we get that question all the time. Hey, you know, I live in Canada, but I have a secondary address in the United States. And so I spend the cold months in Canada down in Florida. Can I get a plan that covers me while I'm in the US? The answer is yes, you need a US address.
Okay, and obviously you have to be seen in the US. Can't get coverage in Canada. Or is that not accurate?
There is no coverage in Canada. It's just in the 50 states of the United States of America.
Got it. Okay. Yes, you will receive a copy of these slides. How much dental is covered? I mean, I guess it depends on the plan. Would you want to answer to that?
There's a pre-negotiated rate for all the dental care services that you would expect, whether it's root canals or, you know, fillings or extractions, all those types of things. There is a whole list of dental services with the rates that have been pre-negotiated. It's awesome. The network is called Carrington. That's Careington.
It's a great plan. We were going to market that as a standalone product. So it's a great service to have in here, folks. Really good.
By the way, here's a testimony, David. I'll just mention this on the dental program. My dentist, he lives about 5 blocks from me. When we got wind of this, we took this straight to him and said, you know, how does this stack up? And they go, oh my gosh, we love Carrington, and oh my word, look at those rates you guys have. Those are great. And my dentist said, you got to talk to my partners. So I did. And one of the partners is now on board using our dental and our medical plan as the dental practice owner. And they were so impressed, they belong to a franchise. They put me in touch. Here's networking. Here's smart networking. I said, great, you guys are impressed. you guys are a franchise, you have a gajillion of these, and you own one of them. Could you put me in touch and endorse me to meet with the person who oversees all the franchises? I'm meeting with that person at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, for someone on Medicare, could this take the place of a supplemental plan?
I'm
Believe
not
the
gonna
answer is no.
I'm not gonna answer that question. I'm not sure the exact
I will answer it then, because I have asked this myself. It does not take the place of a supplemental plan. That's what I was told by the folks. So
Yep,
I'm
that's
also a longevity distributor. Yes, Tim, same person from Canada. Yeah, you can sign up for the healthcare even though you're in Canada right now. You're a US citizen, but of course you'd have to use it here in the US. Is there a number of employees? Yes, there needs to be 2 minimum. Some of these I'm just going to answer myself, Scott.
yes.
So 2 minimum. The website you refer people to, folks, is dachealthcare.com. dachealthcare.com/your ID number. If they're a business owner, they'll click on the right-hand side that says employer and business owner. And if they're one of your agent members, they'll click on the left side. Now, let's say your neighbor, let's say my neighbor wanted to sign up for this. They can't join unless they're an employer group with 2 or more, right? Or if they're in DAC or longevity. If they're not in DAC or longevity, as Scott mentioned in the webinar, they could join. And the day they join, they'd be eligible to order this. So if you've got a neighbor and if the only reason they join DAC is because they want to get the healthcare, that's okay. We're okay with it. We've disclosed to our partners that that may be why some people join. But it is a route for someone to get the healthcare as an individual. They'd have to join DAC first or longevity, either one. No, there's no additional commission if you're licensed, although we've got a lot of licensed agents who want to market this, of course. Smallest business to get a plan is 2 or more. How do you start off? If you want to use it for yourself, we did mention in the webinar, but maybe you got on after that, but just as a quick refresher, you'd go to DAC Healthcare if you're using it for yourself. You click on the left-hand side where it says DAC agent. You go through and look at the plan. You pick a plan. After you pick a plan, you enroll. If you enroll by the 25th, you'll be live the next day as an individual, I mean the next month as an individual. You have to put in your routing number and your account number, fill out all the information, and you'll get a digital membership pack immediately so you can start using it on the 1st of the month. And then your physical cards and membership pack will be mailed to you, get it around the 10th of the month. But you'll already have your digital cards. That's as an individual. As a group for starting off, they go to dachealthcare.com/your ID number. They review the plans. They click request a quote. A quote is going to be given to them and you as the agent are going to get, agent meaning DAC agent, longevity rep, whatever you want to call yourself. It's your job to get that employer, that business owner on the phone with the SBA expert team to arrange that, to manage that, to facilitate that. You're earning the largest commission. So here's where you do some of your work. They're going to bring in the expertise, but you got to arrange that call. They'll then talk, answer any questions. You'll be educated. It's a good thing. You're getting educated by a licensed agent on the program and on the product. And you're also going to get paid if they sign up. It's beautiful. You'll help hold their hands until enrollment happens. Once all the employees are given the options, they choose the option they want. The employer is who pays for it, and they can always deduct it from the employee's paycheck. But the employer is the one, let's say there's 10 employees on the family plan, that employer is going to pay for 10 employees for that amount, whatever the rate is that they agree to. And then they can deduct that from the employee's paycheck if they want to, or they can just pay for it themselves as the employer. So our healthcare provider is only deducting one payment a month from that company. It's from the employer themselves, which is standard how healthcare is done. And if someone just asked the next question, it's timely. What if someone's got an employee and they leave the company after 4 months? Is that employer on the hook to the end of the year? No, the employer can cancel that person because they left employment, of course. There is a cancellation, rule, I guess you'd call it. If someone cancels from our healthcare, they can't sign up for another year. They can't come on and use it and then get off and then come on again 3 months later and get off. No, it doesn't work that way. Not only that, we're working on an annual commitment for someone if they're going to get on the service through DAC, an annual commitment. The reason being, we don't want someone signing up, using it for a month and quitting, because that hurts everybody in the plan, because we're doing a cost sharing. So someone gets in, okay, I'm going to have a surgery next month. I'm going to order the healthcare, get my surgery, and cancel the healthcare. Not going to fly. You're going to have to pay for it for a year. So it's not why you get this to, get a discount on your surgery and quit on everybody. It's coverage. So pre-existing will allow, but we're not going to allow someone to game the system, as you can imagine. Does this, yeah, telecare is gone, everybody. That's been gone for a while, since August of last year. I answered that question. Someone asked, how do you handle the question of if they have a catastrophic situation and it's above the coverage limits? I'll answer that by saying this: we advise they get a catastrophic coverage plan. And I think you'll be glad to see that we're working on a catastrophic coverage plan that doesn't require a license. That's what we're being told. We're waiting for final legal opinion on that. And if we get that, we'll have a catastrophic plan we can market that doesn't require a license as well to put on top of this to help cover that upper end expense. But as we've been teasing on our DAC calls, we're looking at many catastrophic options that do require a license. And when that happens, of course, you'd have to get licensed to market it. But what we're looking at right now with this SBA Freedom Protect Plan is they're looking at adding a catastrophic option that we'd be able to add to this without you having to get licensed to be able to promote it. Who does one do a video conference set up with as an expert? What happens, what Scott was saying is you do a video conference yourself. I mean, you're just like he is. He's reaching out, talking to the employer, setting up an appointment to go over the features that you learned in this training. Those features. That's why I said stumble and bumble if you have to a few times. He went through the features of what's the critical stuff, and then you get them to your website where they fill out a request a quote form. They have to answer certain questions, and then the SBA team will help. They're not going to get on the phone with everybody we want to put them on with. If an employer is not willing to fill out the request a quote form and answer that information, they're not going to get on the telephone with them. So it's going to be our job as individuals to pique interest, to create enough conversation to get them to go to the next level. Scott, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you covered it super well, and I couldn't have said it any better. We just don't want people, sending in partial, fake, subsequent, get a quote information, and then thinking that all the staff at SBA is going to call that person for you, start from square one, explain the whole program, answer their questions, do all that work, and then pay out those commissions. So remember, we all have the job to do to go build the relationship and put that relationship on the line and bring it to a place to where they're yearning to just have some final details answered by the SBA team if necessary.
Great point. Someone asked, how long does it take till we hear back from someone after they fill out the request a quote? Well, there's a process we have today. It's a manual process that's being automated and improved. So I'll talk about the current situation, and then I'll speak to what's coming in the very, very near future. The current process is we are notified that someone filled out a request a quote form, and then the internal team reaches out to the employer group, okay, and also reaches out to you as an agent and says, hey, we've got this information. We're trying to reach that employer to have a conversation with them. You're going to hear from them within one business day from the time they fill out that information. They may not necessarily have a quote yet. It's really to create a conversation, right? So that's how it is today. In the future, there's going to be more questions asked in that request a quote form, and it's really going to be a quote. And that quote will be emailed to you immediately, I won't say instantly, but it's going to be pretty quick. That quote's going to come to you as the agent, and it's also going to go to the employer who filled out the request a quote form. So then it'll be your job. You'll know the quote. It'll be in your hand. It'll also be in the client's hand. And it'll be your job to arrange a call with the agent, the licensed agent at SBA and your client. You're going to be the person who makes that connection, not SBA. They're not going to start playing phone tag with your client. It's your job to play phone tag. And then you arrange the call with the leader. Well, David, I work all day. No problem. Arrange it during your lunch or in the evening. Or if worst case, you can't be on the call, you can arrange it and they'll do the call without you, but we want you on the call to get educated. The only reason we wouldn't require it is if it's going to stop the deal from moving forward. But we're asking you to try to make a call happen and step out for 15 minutes or do it during lunch, or find a way to make it accommodate you and them. Again, you're earning commissions. If they sign up 10 employees, on average, you're going to make about $1,800 a year. It's an $1,800 phone call. So we're asking you do that part, and you're earning a lot more than the SBA expert is who's doing the call. So we need our agents to do more of the work to make the relationship conversation happen. But to answer your question, you should hear back from them very soon, within a couple days. If you haven't, email the support team at SBA Freedom. When you say individuals, are you talking about anyone or must they be part of the business? Angela, great question. An individual cannot use our healthcare coverage unless they are a representative of Longevity or David Allen Capital. So your neighbor who is an individual who is not part of the business cannot. Only people who can use this are part of employer groups. They can be an agent of DAC and use this. So they'd have to sign up as an agent first. And again, they can join us for free, right? So it's a couple extra steps, as Scott mentioned in the webinar. They'd have to join DAC first and then order the healthcare immediately after. Scott said he shared with the company their savings. How do we get this kind of information? Scott, how would you recommend they get the savings information?
The best thing to do is ask them if you can see a copy of their current plan. That's the best place to start. Then you're comparing facts to facts, and you can stay, right inside that lane. I don't have any qualms. First I build a relationship. I get people in agreement with me, like, yes, it would be great to have those things here at our company as benefits that you've just described. And I say, wonderful. Would you allow me and our team of people to take an analytical assessment of what you currently have in place, and we'll give our very best effort to show you how what we just talked about would play out for you and your company. So we literally look at things like, what are their premiums and what are their deductibles, and what really are they offering? And then when we show them what we have, it's pretty obvious and blaring in most cases what the reduction in rates would look like.
Very good. All right, if a person leaves their job, can they continue with the healthcare? They do have COBRA coverage, correct, for 6 months?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I was told as well. Thank you. That just means they can stay on the plan even though they're no longer part of the employer group. Is there more detailed information on these plans? Yes, on the website, Ellen. Is there a prospect-facing presentation to use for face-to-face or video appointments? Basically what you're covering with people, Scott. And I'd say DAC doesn't have one yet, but I will tell you, in a conversation I had with David Jones, they're working on a presentation that's going to be stellar that comes with the quote. It really shows a visual representation of the savings and a visual representation of the plans. And just today I started working on my own little slideshow for my own mind to get around coverages. Like Scott said, there's silos of deductible versus copay versus doctor visits that are covered with a $20 copay versus some that are 50-50. So I was working on a visual representation so I could market it to some businesses myself, but it may be overkill. It may not be necessary. So I'd say, Siobhan, right now, that's a great question. And I'm going to put that to our list to talk about with the Freedom Protect team, is what type of presentation can we give to our agents to offer in a face-to-face presentation to a customer. So the answer is nothing yet, but it's coming. No, we're not going to cover catastrophic plans tonight because we don't have clearance yet that we can market them without being licensed. But I will tell you, we're chomping at the bit, hoping we'll be able to very soon. Can we sign up individuals? Christina, I think I probably answered that already. Tanya, Scott covered what to say to the owner. And again, you're just setting up the conversation. Features and benefits, highlights, meet, greet, and inform. Meet, greet, and inform, and get them to fill out that request a quote form and let our experts come in and do the rest. Meet, greet, inform, the highlights, have them fill out the request a quote form, let the experts come in and answer all their detailed questions, and you learn on the job. Plan D is not showing on the DAC healthcare site. Has this been replaced with Plan B upgrade? Yeah, what we're doing is we're moving to a plan that will allow for HSA savings accounts to be applied toward that plan. So you'll see the fourth plan will be added back on very soon. So right now, stay tuned. ABC are there now. We got rid of Plan B. It wasn't a fit. So Plan D is now really B or C, but we're adding another plan that'll be HSA approved. You mentioned dental. Is that a separate plan? It is included, Betty. Great question. Pre-negotiated prices. Can Medicare recipients get vision and dental portion use? Bobby, I'm going to say we're going to have to email that question into support. It's not designed for Medicare people or Medicaid. It's not. We don't sell the dental and vision on its own. Are you saying could they buy the whole plan and just use the dental and vision? I don't think that'd be a good use of their funds. But maybe I'm misunderstanding, and I recommend you email that one to the contact us button for sake of time. Does this coverage include U.S. territory, Scott? Or is it just continental U.S.?
It is strictly the U.S. so far as I know.
So the U.S. territories probably not. We'll get confirmation on that though, Renee.
Yep, we'll get confirmation on that. It's more has to do with infrastructure of really what's available in U.S. territories, like you're probably talking about Guam or Puerto Rico or the U.S. Virgin Islands. Is that what their question is really entailing?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. We'll look into the network of what's really possible in those areas.
Yep. Okay. Someone says 3 clients with 10 employees. Couldn't that also be 1 employer with 30? Absolutely. We're using a help 3 get 3 through 3. You want to get 3 clients, even if the first one has 60 employees. Go get 3 clients minimum. You want to know why? You'll be an example for your team, and you'll have answered enough. It's like Scott has a confidence right now because of the clients he's already signed up that nobody else who's gotten, if you've not gotten any clients, you don't have the same confidence. Even if you're like Torrance, great job, Torrance, by the way, who got his first client. He's got 5 new employees just signed up. Congratulations, Torrance, that's awesome. You experience 1 client. You get 2 more clients, you're gonna experience new things, right? So we want you to be an example, get 3 clients, but yes, for sake of the dollars, yeah, 30 employees is 30 employees. They produce the same amount of BV, QV, and retail profit. But we want you to be an example with 3 clients minimum anyway. And of course, you're not gonna stop at 3. You're gonna keep going because you're being a hero, helping some businesses and helping their employees. Can you, Brian's asking, Scott, can you just, again, recite what you go over, just high level bullet points on your Zoom meeting with an employer or a phone call? Can you touch on that one more time? Because we keep getting at that question.
Absolutely. The most important thing I do is I relate to that person. I really focus first on the relationship, the likability factor, the relatability. It's all very, very important before you do anything else. And I know it's tempting just to jump right in and go for the jugular and just get down to business. Just slow down long enough to think about the person on the other end of the line and make sure that you've got some commonalities that you figured out and the likability factor is there. Next is I really just go through those 6 bullet points. It was one of the first slides that we covered tonight. Real quickly, it is lower rates by and large. Number 2, no deductible. Number 3, not subjected to open enrollment. Number 4, large network that we have access to. Number 5, you don't have any pre-existing conditions, and you're talking to an employer who would love to know that they can get a claim account reimbursement at the end of the year for any unused portion. Now, notice I'm not looking at a slide. Boom, boom, boom. I've got that memorized in my head. I could say it in my sleep if you woke me up at 3 a.m. in the morning and said, recite those 6 things. I could probably do it. So get those down, have them, and just have an enjoyable conversation. When you mention those 6 things to an employer, believe me, I'm telling you, it's a fact. I've looked at their faces. They're impressed. They're like, really? Whoa, no way. Okay, great. Well, what's next? Where do I, what's the next step after this? Talk to a broker about this. They have not been able to sell anything or offer something like this. They're also impressed. So don't be afraid to talk to insurance agency brokers. We have several of them in our business that are now marketing this exact same program that we're talking about right now, and they're ecstatic about it. So when you're done, don't be afraid after that conversation of those 6 bullets, just say, hey, would you let me do you a favor? I would love to help you with this. Could I just see a copy of your current existing plan? And let me take a look at it with our team. Just use vernacular, use professionalism. Say things like our team. It's okay. Just say, could I take a look at this with our team of professionals and come back to you with a little bit of an analysis. Now, that could just be simply you looking through it, getting some expert advice from, somebody at SBA through the Get a Quote button. You can submit everything through the Get a Quote button. Remember, you are not an insurance agent. I could never emphasize this enough. You're not an insurance agent, you're a referral agent. And when you're meeting with an employer, you're simply there to share, to tell stories, to stay in the vein that I just shared with you, and to be confident about the points of how we can be of benefit and service to them. And then always remember, you've got people to fill in the blanks from there.
Love it. I'm ready to talk to some more businesses. Chiropractic care, there is chiropractic care too, isn't there?
Well, as long as they're in the network, David, and when you go to the network, you will find that it's not uncommon to see chiropractors. A lot of people are like, well, how come this doctor or that doctor isn't in the network? Please understand, everybody, that you don't have to be in a network. And there's plenty of, especially the natural side, like chiropractors that choose out, they just want to be cash only. And there are some medical clinics that are cash only. And because they don't like dealing with insurance, they just choose out. That's why sometimes your favorite people, including chiropractors, are not in a network.
Right on. Good point. Tanya, we just covered your question. Great question for Scott. But what are you talking about? What are those bullet points again? Just covered them. To get your information cards, your drop cards, Stephanie, you go to the DAC Agent Resource Center. That's at the footer of davidallencapital.com. davidallencapital.com, the very footer, you'll see the Agent Resource Center. In that site, you'll see under marketing information, you will see a link to the drop card order page, and you can order the drop cards there. Yes, 2 or more, George? Yes, the plan does include medical, dental, and vision, all in it, yes. I'm reading a question. Can you give us an example, Scott, when someone says, yes, I like what you're offering me, pretty good. How long does it take usually to enroll all the employees and become a live customer?
Great question. So what we do, once we have it at that place, that's fun. And we've got staff that are standing by to help do just that. So when it comes time to enroll a group, you want to tell the employer, we need all the names of the people that are going to be mentioned on the plan, their full legal names, we need their social security numbers, and we need their date of birth. So if they can do name, social, date of birth, and supply all that right up front, it's very, very simple. We just basically take that, open up the group, put the people on board as listed. Those people now get cards. They're activated based on the dates that we already showed you. If you have them by the 20th of the month with that group enrolled, it's something that's activated the 1st of the month. On the SBA side, to put that into the computer system, allow a couple of business days, and voila, their account is activated.
Okay. what do you use to show comparison of rates? Actually, we don't show the comparison of rates. We're not licensed insurance agents, so we don't do that, guys. We get it when Scott gets a copy of the numbers. He can speak to potential savings. I believe we can save you money. He knows what the monthly costs are, right? You can pull the brochure and see what the monthly cost is for each plan. So you can see our monthly rates are far lower than what they're paying. But you let the insurance agents actually give you the quote and give you the savings amount and present that, because there's going to be things we just don't know as non-licensed people. So we don't want to step into that world. But
Hey,
the
David,
prices are on the brochure. Go ahead, Scott.
oh, my apologies for interrupting. I wanted to let you know that I'm getting some intel right now because some of the staff at the SBA are listening in. And that intel is saying that there is a brand new video which is created specifically to share with employers. And so you can let your employers watch a professionally done video with paid and trained actors who are in the video explaining the freedom plans, very professionally done. It will be able for you to review, David, for an upload by the end of the week.
Yep, I already saw it. It's fabulous. I can't wait to release it. We're just waiting for legal approval. So hopefully we'll have that legal approval by the end of the week. And if we do, it'll be presented to all of you to share with some employers. It's fabulous. Great point. Great, Tanya, very creative of you. Can we add the join now button right at the DAC healthcare site to join as an agent? No, we can't, unfortunately. So they're going to have to take that extra step. It's little too much like they're not becoming an agent. They're really just signing up to healthcare without being a rep. So we got to keep them separate somewhat. We don't have to, but we're choosing to stay clear of any violation of the ERISA rules. Sherry, I'm not going to talk about a catastrophic plan. We're not offering that yet. As a longevity distributor trying to build my team, will people who enroll as DAC agents be included in my YGY downline? Yeah, Jessica, just so you know, David Allen Capital and Longevity, they're all the same organization. We're all in the same database. So if you are in Longevity today, your agent ID is your agent ID, right? Whatever that is. Just say it's 12345. Then your website at Longevity is 12345.longevity.com, right? Well, at DAC, it's dachealthcare.com/12345, davidallencapital.com/12345. So anything that is DAC is Longevity. Anything is Longevity is DAC. We're all same database, same compensation plans. DAC does have a bonus plan for the business loans that you have to qualify for in DAC. But outside of that, if someone joins DAC, yeah, they're joining under you. You're going to give them your recruiting code. So if they're joining at David Allen Capital, you would send them to davidallencapital.com/partner/your ID number. davidallencapital.com/partner/your ID number. That's a direct link to the Join Now page. And they can join, and you'll get an email immediately that says, congratulations, you've got a brand new representative just joined in your Longevity team. And they'll get a welcome letter from David Allen Capital. And they can market Longevity tomorrow as well. They're a Longevity representative as much as they are a DAC representative. Great question, Jessica. I have Medicare. My wife has no coverage. Can I enroll her in this plan? I don't feel equipped to answer that, Scott. Do you know the answer to that?
I think the question I'm taking is they're a standalone individual. If they're not in Medicare under the age of 65 and they want an individual plan on their own, I believe the answer is yes.
Yep. So the wife would be a standalone individual. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Great question, Vince. And welcome to the team, my friend. Thanks, David and Scott. Great presentation and so much potential. Love this company. I'm moving back to the US like now. Well, thank you, Tim. Back in the US. USA, though. Okay, so retired people can't use this, question mark? Ellen's asking.
It's not built for people. When we say retired, we're assuming that means over the retirement age limit. So 65 and older is Medicaid qualified, or Medicare qualified, excuse me. And so these plans are designed for people between the ages of 26 and 65.
There you go. And of course, someone under 26 can get it if they're not on someone else's plan, as my son did. Okay, that is the ways to pay 20K annual out of pocket on the catastrophic. Okay, we're not talking catastrophic. We don't offer a catastrophic yet. The dental is a plan that comes along with this plan, Anita. You get dental when you order it, and the dental
Correct.
has pre-negotiated prices. Bobby says, Scott and David, can you enroll in this open or close enrollment? Because I work with Covered and now working in training with Connect for Health Colorado. They do not have PUPO only. Okay, 1 second. Can you enroll in this? You can enroll in this anytime, Bobby. There isn't an open enrollment period. You can enroll in this anytime. Now, DAC is working on not for employer groups, they can enroll at any time, but DAC, we're working on a open enrollment period for existing reps to get on it, and then new agents will always be able to get on it. We have to do that because there's people gaming the system, and we can't allow that. So unfortunately, because people game the system, we have to put things in place to stop the gaming. And so there will come a time in the near future where we say, if you want this plan, you have to order it by this date if you're an existing DAC agent. Otherwise, you won't be able to order it again until some period in the future. Now, of course, brand new agents will be able to order it the month they join, or maybe within 2 months of joining or something. But we do have to put in some enrollment buckets of time for existing reps to keep people from waiting until they need it to buy it. That doesn't work with the economics of it. And then they leave a month after they order it. So we've already had 4 or 5 people do that. So obviously we're going to put a stop to it. That hurts everyone else who's using it honestly. David Jones, licensed agent, says, David, no, the Freedom Plan will not work as a Medicare supplement. Yep, I think I answered it that way. Hopefully I did. Audrey, I'll come back to your answer in a moment. Can we provide this to other? Yeah, Patrick, if you've got another direct sales company that wants to market this, you would put them in contact with me. Yes, we can accommodate that. If they're going to end up selling it, if they're going to use it as a product to sell like we are, obviously the commission plan needs to change because we can't pay you full commission and all of the DAC upline and longevity upline full commission and then still have money to make. So it would be a different compensation. But if you want to sign them up just to use it, the same way Scott was using it before we were marketing it, he got it because it was a good product to have. Then absolutely you can refer them and they can use it and make it available and not pay commissions on it, and they'll get the same pricing we have. But if they want to earn commissions on it, we have to work out a special deal with them, which means it's not going to go through the pay plan as normal, of course. If someone joins DAC with the intention of later getting on the health plan, can they earn enough commissions to pay for said plan? Absolutely, they can. They got to go out and refer clients. You know, you don't earn for joining, you earn for producing. But if they go out and produce, heck, look at that. We already said, if you go get 3 clients, you're making $5 grand a year. That'll more than cover your premiums or your rate. So 3 and yours is free is another way of looking at it. But we can't say that for sure because we don't know what plan you're getting and we don't know how big your clients are. So what happens to employees who have the plan and then quit work for the employer? Can they keep the plan? They keep it for a certain period of time, Mark. I'm going to go through the rest of these. I see some of you are asking the same question. Duplicate time is figured I'd missed it or something. So I'm going to take a moment to read these. Scott, why don't you share something that's on your heart while I scan through these questions quickly and just summarize them into a couple final questions.
Well, David, first of all, this has been an outstanding webinar. I mean, it has been so thorough, and I think we've covered so many bases. And I know that for some people, you're feeling like you just drank out of a fire hose. Keep this super, super simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't think, oh my goodness, I've got to go become an expert on this topic. I've got to, learn all there is about insurance and study up on all the competitors out there, the Aetnas and the Cignas and all those guys. Don't do that to yourself. The last thing you need to do is think that you need to go do all that. I find it interesting. There's a lot of statistics out there that will help you that you can read about. I mean, they're just everywhere. And so, my ears perk up when I hear things about the health related industry. For example, last night I was walking through a public area and I heard some news station was on and they were talking about healthcare debt. And they said the number one cause of bankruptcy now is health and medical bill debt. And I thought, oh my goodness, we are like totally part of the solution to this right now. There are so many people that just don't have coverage that are very likely more than ever to be able to afford it with us. Lightening the load or the burden of so many people that don't pay their medical bills. Think about it. If that many people don't have coverage and they're going in and getting care, getting coverage, and they don't care if they go bankrupt or not, or they don't care if they can pay the bill. This is a country that serves everybody, whether you have coverage or not. It may destroy somebody financially. And I'll tell you, my dad had a heart disease issue years ago, and it caused him to go bankrupt. We're at a place right now where we have solutions for this, and when we bring the best solution out there to the marketplace, we are meeting a need. I got a friend of mine that's like a Shark Tank guy. He's not on TV, but he's exactly like the show. And when I put this in front of him and said, what do you think about this? He goes, Scott, if I was your age, and so he's quite a bit older than me, he says, if I was your age, I'd put on blinders and I'd run like I was being chased by a lion. I would not stop running. I would put my blinders on and go full tilt. He said, the person who solves the healthcare industry of this country right now is the person that's done the greatest service for this country.
Love it. Hey, Scott, you're not going to believe this. We've got so much interest, and we had over 350 people on this webinar, which is fabulous. And we have right now 70 questions unanswered. So we're not going to be able to get to all of them. A lot of them are duplicates. So that shows the level of interest we have. We still have 278 people on the webinar. So that shows the level of interest that's here. There's still people wanting to hear what other questions come up. And obviously 100 of those are questions were asked, so they're waiting for those to be answered. So I'm going to start racing through these. Forgive me, folks, if this sounds a little rude. I'm just going to answer quickly, and then if I can't answer, I'm going to have Scott do it. And Dave and Frank, I'm glad you guys are here because some of these I may say and allow you to answer. So let's go quickly. Is there a $25 for the owner to be a member for the employees? Yeah, there's a co-op charge for the employer to pay to join before they can allow any of their employees to join. Is there someone with the company I can speak with about this? I logged on at the right time, but I had some issues hearing this. Yeah, David, we're gonna post this as a replay, so we encourage you to watch the replay. And then if you have any questions, you can contact support about those questions, support@davidallencapital.com. If we can't answer it, we'll get it to the right person who can, but please watch the replay first. Don't ask questions until you watch the training, just for sake of simplicity. How can we view the providers in the network? You can view those right at the website. There's a link to the provider network, and you can watch that there. My contact for that, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I want to just interject something here. I don't know if it's anywhere on the list, the litany of questions that are still unanswered, but would you talk for a second? I know the answer, but I'd love it to come from you. Just a little bit about the fact that we have Spanish translation for people that don't speak English well or don't speak English at all, or it's a second language, and what we're doing about providing, websites and information for them as well.
Love it. Well, it was very important. And this, I got to tip my hat to the SBA folks because we wanted it, but we didn't expect it. And they went above and beyond, and they launched, when we launched our English site, they launched a Spanish site as well, Spanish speaking site, and brochures. So that's already live. They can already join. We've already got people who can talk to them. We've already got documents to fill it out. So everything is there. You don't have to hold back talking to any of your non-English speaking friends if they speak Spanish. Okay. By the way, the co-op cost is $2 per month for employers. Their employees don't pay any of it. Thank you, Frank. It totals $24 a year, not $25 up front. It's $2 a month. The rebate refund aspect again. So what happens is a portion of the rate that they pay each month, let's just say it's $500 a month, okay? Some of our plans are less, some are more. So let's just say it's $500 a month someone's paying, and so much of that goes into the claim fund. There's some admin costs, and there's some other costs, obviously, whether they use it or not. We still have to pay networks and things like that, or the SBA does. But there's some of it set aside for the claims. If all that is not used after a certain period of time, I want to say it's like 6 months after a year's up, and that could be off a little bit, doesn't really matter. It's not immediate. There's a time window in case more claims come in, from that year's use. There's a certain period of time that goes up and go, okay, all those claims that are going to come in have come in. We know that you overpaid in claims, meaning you over contributed toward claims. So that gets refunded back to the employer. And it takes some time, of course, but it does get refunded back. Beyond that, there's no other details that need to be discussed at this point, but that hopefully answers your question of how does that work. And there's details, of course, of how they do that, but it's very official and it's got to be completely legal, and it's done all by compliance. If I'm a DAC agent and I want to enroll in this, do I enroll under my link? Yes. If you're enrolling under the healthcare, you sign up under your own link. So you go to dachealthcare.com/YourID, you sign up as yourself, so you get personal credit, personal QV and BV for the order. There's no retail profit on DAC agents, only BV and QV. So yes, sign up under your own ID. Someone said, can you please clarify, if I'm on Medicare, you cannot get this plan?
Correct. It's not for Medicare.
Yes. Do individual plan? No, there is no individual plans. There's no such thing as an individual plan, Kranesha. You are a DAC member. If there is a claim reimbursement, it'll go back to DAC. It wouldn't go back to you as an individual. You'd have to be an employer of your own group to get reimbursement of funds. And yes, DAC does not plan to sit on that money. If there is a claim fund refund back to us, we plan on passing it on in savings or other creative things. It just can't be commissions because for other reasons. No, Bob, there's not a way to split that up. You got me inspired, Scott. I'm getting back after this. I'll be doing this from afar, but understand the critical aspect of the personal relationship development. Yes. Thank you, Matthew. You can see we changed the process, Matt. It's not just get them to fill out the website anymore. It's make the meeting happen too.
Way to go, Matt.
Yes. Love it. We don't yet, Frank. There's some stuff on there about catastrophic plans, so we don't have clearance of that video yet. I'm licensed in 12 states. Can I market this to my non-resident states? Absolutely, Ronald. You don't have to be licensed to market this. So you can market this in any state. It's a non-license required product. Okay, Ellen, that's there prematurely and it should not be there yet. If there's catastrophic plan information on the website, that's not yet being offered. That's a preview of what we're hoping to come. We're still waiting on legal approval of that. So it shouldn't be posted up there yet. Do you have a monthly payment even if you don't visit a doctor until you get sick? Yeah, Gerard, you're paying for a monthly rate. You're paying for monthly coverage. So it's not insurance, but it works similar to it. You pay a monthly cost to have coverage. So yes, you do pay monthly to have this. Yes, if they are agents of that organization, but you can't have like a church sign up and tell everyone in their, congregation they can sign up. But if there's an organization that has 7 or 8 independent agents, 1099 agents, they can join up under that entity. Just like with DAC, you're all independent agents of DAC. Mark, your relationship will determine how much you know about the employees, but we cannot show any of the health information because of HIPAA laws, but you'll know who the members are using it. You bet, Siobhan. Appreciate your encouragement. How many people constitutes a family? It's the nuclear family. So you can't have your aunt and uncle and all that. It's parents and kids. That's it. It's not grandparents, kids, and their kids. It's parents and kids. So if there's 9 of you, there's 9 of you. Is there a limit, Scott or Dave? Can you just speak to that? Is there a limit to how many in a family? I don't think there is.
There's no limit. As long as it's legitimately your family, you could be the dirty dozen.
All right, cool. Cheaper by the dozen, guys. Yeah, you need 2 enrollments on the plan, Tanya, correct. It can't just be 2 people in the company and only 1 joins. You need 2 enrollments minimum. Yeah, Daniel, we've already got a couple designed. We're working on some clearance on that, some banners and stuff. As a PPO network, can you go outside the network even though it may cost you more? Is that correct? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think you can go outside the network and use this.
No, you need to stay inside the network. You got to stay inside the network. Just like you do with any other company, whether it's United or Cigna or Anthem, they all have networks. You have to stay inside that network. And remember, this is the most, arguably the most generous network that there is. So have fun with it.
Right on. There's some plans, some insurance plans, you can go outside your network and use it, but you pay a crazy much higher rate. This, you must stay in the network, but it is a very large network. Drop cards already exist, and there's brochures online you can print. Any idea, Dan, this is a leading question, I love it. What percentage of people historically have claims over $8,000? And David Jones taught us on one of our early webinars that less than 80% of the people will ever, or around 80% of the people will have claims under $8,000 a year. So our first plan was designed to cover 80% of the people where they have less than $8,000 in claims a year. So, and I could be off a couple percent there, but the bottom line is most Americans are never going to go above that first plan, but you could. So you have to look at your family and decide you want higher coverage or not. Can you give the name of the network of healthcare? I know it used to be owned by Aetna. Can you say what the name of the healthcare network is now? I don't know that. Do you know that, Scott?
It's PHCS.
PHCS, thank you. Right now, you can only get drop cards, Daniel. You'd have to make, if you want just a regular business card, you have to get that on your own. We are designing some business cards. You can get David Allen Capital cards, but they say David Allen Capital on them, not DAC Healthcare. But we are working on a DAC Healthcare card. Until then, you can get your own. Just have us approve it first before you print it. What do I make on my team that orders this? There's $60 or $80 in bonus volume. So it depends on what level they are in your team. First level, you make 8%. So you make $480 all the way up to $640 a customer. If they're just a rep in your team, not just, but if they're an individual user in your team, you get paid on the bonus volume. It's just like they bought $60 or $80 worth of product, except it comes in every month after month after the month. The slides we went through tonight are not available yet, but they will be available in the DAC Agent Resource Center. The 6 things, George, I typed them up and put them as a response to everybody. So check your response, but I'll just state them again real quick. Number 1, lower rates. Number 2, no deductible. Number 3, no open enrollment. Number 4, very large PPO network. Number 5, no pre-existing conditions. And number 6, claim refund pool. Unused claim refund. Man, those are strong points, eh? You bet, Patrick. Thanks for the compliments. David, I don't have the answers to those questions yet. Those are getting into some details that we'd have to have the plan experts on because there's compliance rules. So I don't want to even begin to speak to what they can and can't do with that claim refund. I know they can pass it on as reduced rates the next year. Can one of my agents who owns her own business enroll her business under herself? Of course. A lot of people have already, and she should too, or he should. Plans are good till 64, that's right. 3x3 through 3 is a powerful plan, no doubt about it. Heck, it's powerful at 3x3 through 2. We're already at 35 grand a year. Come on now, residually. Yes, vision is included. Territories are included, thank you. However, the provider network is much thinner. Thank you, Frank. So for those of you who asked about the US territories, it does include the territories. Thank you, Renee. You bet. That's correct, Ellen, all one price. Yes, the replay will be available in our DAC webinar staging page tomorrow. You bet, Randall. If someone doesn't have a current plan, then obviously they're not getting a quote. They're going to learn the pricing. There's nothing to compare it to. So they're going to just look at what it costs per member and decide which plan they want to go with. So it's not a savings plan, it's a coverage plan because they don't have coverage now. Yes, DAC agents can get a plan for themselves or a family plan. These are great questions because they help me see what we got to add to our presentation. The difference, Tanya, is the first presentation, you're covering highlights to see if they have interest in getting a quote. After they say yes, then the experts come in and answer questions about coverage. They answer questions about pricing, enrollment, open enrollment, pre-existing conditions, differences in plans versus other plans. So they get into the woods a little bit more, into the weeds, right? You're just given the 6 highlight points to find out if they have interest. It's kind of like in our business capital. We just say it's simple, it's fast. Do you qualify with these 3 things? You know, you've been in business 4 months, you're doing at least 10,000 a month. Yeah, we can probably get you per month what you're doing or whatever you're doing a month in sales. We can probably get you a loan. Are you interested? And they now know whether they want to fill out a pre-qualification form. When we share these 6 things of lower rates, no deductible, no pre-existing conditions, claim refund, huge PPO network, you share these. Are you interested in letting our experts give you a price comparison? It's enough to pique their interest. That's the whole key. You're an interest piquer. When the quote manager system is live, it's not live yet, but when it is live, the system will give a quote out almost instantaneously because they're going to answer enough questions that it's all algebra at that point, and it'll give them a quote very quick. And then they're guaranteeing a return call within 48 hours. However, if the employer leaves a message that they're fired up and ready to move forward, of course, they're going to respond even sooner. But again, when someone fills out that quote, you're going to be notified. It's going to be your job. We're going to be teaching. Our job is to get on the phone with them. Just like we say with business capital, call and congratulate them on their pre-qualification. We're going to be saying, get on the phone and get them on the phone with our experts. And we're going to fine tune this.
David?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm getting a private question here that I think is appropriate for everyone as well. And, you know, we want people to know that when you're talking to businesses, providers, et cetera, that are interested in these programs, one of the questions you might get is, hey, could you demonstrate who is on the network in my area? That's a common question. And with confidence, you need to be able to say, absolutely, I'd love to help you with that. You can simply go to dachealthcare.com/your ID number. Now you're in the website, and you can scroll to the bottom of the website, and there will be a box there that says find a provider. Click on that box. You will now see the PHCS network button pop up. Now, here's what I want you to know. We're going to build in a very small instruction sheet right here that you can follow. And once you understand how to use this link, you have so much power at your fingertips. For those people that have been through a little training on this, it's really awesome to be able to do that. And we will make sure that everyone has the confidence and competence to take people to this button and adequately demonstrate with great confidence and pride that network. And when you see how robust it is, I mean, it is very detailed. All the providers get listed: doctors, hospitals, urgent care, specific doctors. Like if you want to look up, for example, in a zip code, just orthopedics, you can put in a zip code with just orthopedic doctors, and that's the only thing you'll see. And it'll say how many miles it is from the center of that zip code. So you can see an order of distance, and you can even search by name what and the name of a doctor you're looking for. So you can get really that kind of pinpoint accuracy. Once you know how to use that tool, I want to emphasize, once you know how to use the tool, it is a very serious advantage that you have.
Absolutely, love it. Okay, is this tax deductible? Well, yeah, you get to write off as paying for your health care. If you're paying for it, you bet. If a business has just signed up with health insurance, what do we say? Well, their employees can opt out of that coverage and get on ours. They can't enroll in a new service right now, but they could leave their service and get on our service. So you treat it the same. The agents will be available when the clients are available at standard business hours. They're out of Colorado, but they'll make themselves available. Heck, we had one gentleman, Lou Emanuelson, came out and met live with someone in Ohio. I mean, it was unbelievable. They flew out. They didn't just do it over the phone. Now, we don't expect that all the time, so don't even expect it. It just shows a level of commitment. There comes a time when they'll even get on an airplane. Don't ask for it, and don't be upset if they're not willing to do it, but just shows their commitment. Why are some plans available only during open enrollments? That's insurance. Those are insurance laws. This is not, Marco, considered insurance, so they can enroll at any time. It's a cost sharing plan. One second. If the reimbursement's causing confusion, let's just summarize this real quick. And some of these questions could be old, so I apologize. The reimbursement goes like this. It is not available to DAC agents. You are an individual. You do not get a reimbursement of unused claims. The reimbursement goes to employer groups only. So that means if you sign up your neighbor who owns Joey's Coney Island and Joey has 30 employees, and at the end of the year, those 30 employees don't use all the claims they contributed, Joey's Coney Island's getting some cash back. If you sign up as Lisa Lou out of Colorado and you're a rep of DAC and you don't use any of your claims, you don't get it back. You're contributing to DAC as a company plan. DAC will get any unused funds back, and DAC will determine how to reimburse our customers with that, okay? Just like an employer would. So we are the employer, you're signing up as a group. If you own a company and you have more than 2 employees, then you could sign up as a group and you would get a claim reimbursement. Hopefully that was clear. Okay, I'm scrolling through to see if there's any. I'm almost done here. The good news is a lot of them are repeat questions. Comp plan you'll be able to watch in the video again. The 3x3 through 3 is like unbelievable. Yeah, there's a one-page flyer on your website. A lot of you need to go to the Agent Resource Center and go through the training that's not on here. We do have flyers on the site.
Hey, David, one more
Yeah.
thing. Want to give an update. SBA works fast. They just informed me that they just uploaded the instructions for how to use the PHCS network for demo purposes and for your own looky-loo. So it's on both sites and it's accessible right now. Beautiful.
They're listening. I love it. They're listening in and acting. And we still have over 200 people on this webinar. Unbelievable. So I'm going to keep going through the questions. David, after you have a customer request a quote, they send you the contact person and you'll have their phone number that way. There is a number on the website, but we don't want people just bombarding it just with questions like, hey, how much am I paid? And where do I go for this? And this training is designed to answer that. We don't want to get our licensed agents bombarded with customer training questions. That's why they're not doing this. We want to reserve them for clients that have client questions. But David, I know you've dealt with a lot of businesses. So once you have your first client go through, you'll have a point of contact there that you'll be reaching out to. And that's who you'd set up that call with. Do agents go through the presentation we saw tonight with the possible client first? No, you don't. The personal client isn't going to see this presentation. We're talking about income on here. I mean, you don't want to show this to an employer. This is for you to be brought up to speed on what our product has to offer. You want to send clients to the website. You talk about, just for simplicity again, you go over 6 bullet points and you get them to your website. Just keep it that simple. We've got a drop card that talks about those 6 bullet points. You can memorize those 6 bullet points. You can refer someone to your website after sharing those 6 bullet points. You do not need to give them a slideshow, like Scott said. I'm not looking at a slide right now. But I'm glad you're asking these questions because it helps us see, you know, where we can right through my employer, I'm in financial. If you're paying less somewhere else, you're not in a beneficial situation to switch to us unless you need it for qualification volume. You know, if someone's buying $100 worth of product in longevity to qualify and paying for healthcare for $250, they're spending $350 to have healthcare. If they go to us, they'll have their $100 in points. They don't have to buy that product anymore. Now, if they want to keep buying that product, they should. But you don't want to switch over to our plan if you're paying less now somewhere else. So I'm not sure the question there. Maybe I misunderstood your question. We only want to do business with people we're putting in a better situation. I don't know that there's plans out there that are lower than ours, frankly. But if you are on one, whether the coverage is the same or not, if you can't afford the one you're on, you shouldn't go to one that costs more. So, Bobby, you've typed this in a few different times. Please reread it and type it in. It's not making. I'm not understanding it. There's some typos in there, so I'm not understanding your question. So please retype it. Read it through and type it. You may not be able to see your lines as you're typing them in. They may scroll off the screen, so you may not be able to see that there's some stuff on there that I just can't understand. No, there's no open enrollment period at all. You can join at any time. However, we are going to be instituting an open enrollment for existing reps. We haven't announced that yet. New reps will always be able to join within 60 days of joining us. 30 or 60, we're not sure yet. But as of right now, you can join at any time. But as an example, you came from Benny U. If we did have a enrollment period and you came over as a company, we'd give you a certain amount of time to enroll. We're not trying to stop someone from enrolling. We're trying to stop someone from gaming the system and waiting to enroll until they have an emergency. And now, you know, they're spending $300 for coverage and getting $8,000 worth of care, and we all got to cover it who are sharing in the cost. It's just not appropriate. So that's why we have to come up with something like that. I'm sure it's fair and you understand. I already started promoting my link on Instagram. Way to go, Nick. Two members. It doesn't matter if one's the employer and one's an employee, or both are employees or both are owners. 2 members. 2 separate members. A family of 7 does not count as 2 members. That's 1 member. You bet.
By the way, I think something that helps, you know, it's not like this is going to happen every time, but I love using myself as a testimony to say, here's the plan I'm on and here's why I picked it. I love telling that story because it tells people right up front, hey, I'm a walking, talking, living, breathing billboard for the efficacy and the value of this program. And I don't think there's any better testimony. It's fun to talk about other people, but there's nothing more powerful than talking about why you chose it for you and your family.
That's right. Hey, we're almost done here. The last 5 questions. Love it. Will the licensed agent from SBA end up doing a Zoom call or webinar with the employees after the employee receives a group code? Yes, they will. Whether it's Zoom or live webinar or demo, absolutely they will. They're very professional at this, and you bet they will deliver whatever method is necessary. My coverage at work is not as good as the DAC healthcare plan that I'm learning about, and I've got a very high deductible. I'm not surprised at all, and you're a good candidate then to switch over and save money. As far as preventative care, does it cover colonoscopies, mammograms, etc. at 100%? And what about immunizations? Well, you have a office visit, just like you do with any ACA compliant. You go in, that stuff's all covered, but you do have an office visit for those things. How about immunizations? I don't know about that, Scott, do you?
I don't either offhand about immunizations. Not sure.
Okay. We'll see if one of the experts from SBA who's on will answer that before we hang up here.
Yes, it does.
It does cover immunizations. Thank you. Don says there's a site on the SBA website that requires a login and password. Can we get on that for training? Yeah, you have to become a member there first. You sign up as a member. It's a separate portal. You sign up there as a member, and then you can watch that training.
The list of preventative things is covered at 100% up to the limits of our plans. Just keep that in mind. And the list is long. There's roughly about 65 things that are on there, and people are baffled at how diverse that is. And again, it is covered, your preventative topics.
Now, I just want to make sure I didn't misspeak then. It's covered at 100%, but you still pay the office visit when you go in, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, the $20 or whatever it is. So 100%, I'm sorry?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So you go in for your colonoscopy and your physical, it's going to cost you $20, but everything else is covered. And there's a list of a bunch of items that are covered at 100%, but again, you do have your office visit. Owners do not have to pay for this. You're correct. They don't have to pay for this. Let me just take this back. They are the ones paying for it, but they can deduct 100% from the employee. So the employer is going to be billed. So if there's 5 employees, and just say it's $500 each, probably won't be, but if it's 5 employees at $500 each, $2,500 is going to be billed to the employer. The employer will pay the $2,500. Now that employer could go back and deduct all 500 from their employees, okay? Or 250 or 200 or 100 or nothing, okay? So that's how, but the employer is the one who pays it. All right, well, phew. Well, I tell you what, I got to say, I just want to go back and show you one more thing because people have asked again, how am I compensated? So I'm going to show you that and we're done. Unless you have a question about this. Again, you get them to your website after you have those 6 bullet point conversations. You have the conversation with them. You get them on the phone with our experts. The employees go through enrollment, you start getting paid. But how are you paid? Again, if you sign up for your own service, you get personal qualifying volume. Individual plan 75 points, family plan 100. But if you want to, and there's bonus volume, you get paid on the bonus volume of your team, okay? And if you want to refer business owners now, they have to have 2 members who join, 2 individual members. When you do, you get paid per member, $12 on an individual plan per month, $16 on a family plan. Now, when I say member, a family is considered 1 member, all right? So you're getting $12 a month per employee if they're individual, $16 a month if they're family, but the average business has 10 employees, 5 of each. So it means you're going to average about $140 a month when you sign up a business, or about $16.80 a year, okay? But look at that BV down there. That's what the upline gets paid on. So if you have people in your team, you're going to get paid on all the BV that they do. So let's give you a quick example. Help 3 get through 3 is over 80 grand. You go get 3 clients. If you get 3 clients and they all average 10 employees, 5 family, 5 individual, you're already making over 5 grand a year. Okay, just from getting 3 clients. Don't stop at 3, but get 3. So you've done goal number 1, you've gotten 3, and you're producing a lot of points too. What's goal 2? Help 3 get 3. So you have 3 agents, refer 3 or more. And when 3 of them go out and get 3 clients themselves, they're all going to be earning 5 grand a year each, right? So are they happy? You bet they're happy. You help 3 people make an extra 5 grand. You're going to make 6 grand on your first level agents if they all have 30 employees, right? So you're at $11,000 a year already. All you did was help 3 get 3. You got 3 clients and you help 3 get 3, and you're making 11,000. You do not have to travel the country. You don't have 600 people in your team. You got you and 3. And when you, by the way, you have 10,000 points. And when you go out and help 3 get 3 through 3, once you have your second level filled out with 3 reps, now you may have 10 reps, 20 reps, 50 reps. Once you have 9 with 3 clients, you're already at 35 grand. Your total income between your personal customers and your first. So you've got 12 people who've gotten 3 clients and you've gotten 3. I'm going to just repeat that. You've got 12 people who've got 3 clients and you've got 3 clients, and you're making residually 35,000 plus a year if this were the case. Now we know you're going to need a lot more than 9 agents, but just so you know, now if you blow this out one more level, and everyone's just helping 3 get 3, help 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 3 get 3. And as that keeps duplicating, once you have 27 people on your 3rd level, there's more. And by the way, it doesn't stop there. You have a 4th level, 5th level, 6th level, 7th level, 8th level. We're not even talking about this. You'd be qualified for car allowances in this story. You've all kinds of neat stuff coming in. But we're just talking your residual income would be over 80 grand a year. So help 3 get 3 through 3. I say this should be your college 4-year plan. This is your 4-year plan. You got a good college degree, you got a bachelor's degree, good for you. Let this be your master's degree. Spend 2 years filling out a help 3 get 3 through 3. Just spend the next 2 years doing that. Heck, next 5 years would be worth it if you're making 82 grand a year residually, because you know your group's not going to stop at 3 levels then. Serving clients, building giants, but again, doesn't mean anything if you don't demonstrate you're an example yourself and learn how to have conversations with enough to get 3 clients. Scott gave you the 6 bullet points. These slides will be up again. You can watch them over and over and over again. But the bottom line is get comfortable being uncomfortable until you're not uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable until you're not uncomfortable. Serving clients, focus on them. Focus on those employees that don't have coverage who are overpaying. Forget your commissions for a moment, but know that if you build out this plan, help 3 get 3, you're already at 11 grand a year. Help 3 get 3 another level, you're at 35 grand. Help 3 get 3 through 3, and you're already at over 80 grand a year residually. Come on now, it won't stop there. Yeah, this webinar has gone long, but it's not near as long as my 3-hour classes at University of Michigan, and I certainly didn't get out 82 grand a year. Sorry, Scott. I'm done. I'm going to turn it over to you, Scott, to close us out, and I'll have my last parting point.
David, I want to thank you for hosting this. You're absolutely right. I don't know who's counting the time here that's going by. Yes, it is a long webinar, but I'll tell you, I spent 5 years in flight school and business school and spent 6 figures getting through that saga. And to this day, the best decision I've ever made is to be a network marketer and to have the tool that we just talked about this evening, understanding the, get 3, to get 3 through 3. I think that is absolutely enormous. And I'm convinced that if everybody focused on this and put some effort into this a little bit each day, just like we taught you, that this wouldn't take as long as you think it would, and it would be so worth it. So thank you everyone for your patience tonight, for being participatory, for all the questions that you asked. It was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. And when you need help, reach up and reach out. Someone's there to support you, to and assist you. So don't be afraid to ask for some help or for some support around these topics. And we are out on the trail. So we're doing meetings all around the country. We're getting people duplicated on this topic, so pay attention to those as well. And don't be afraid to host something where you're inviting someone with a little more experience, a little bit more expertise, a little bit more practice to come into your area and help out with some business presentations. Thank you so much.
Love it. Hey, Scott, thanks for coming on and being our guest. Thanks for all your leadership on this product, helping to bring it forward to us, using it as a customer, sharing your belief in it, helping to make it better. And of course, all your time you've invested in perfecting the customer acquisition process and speaking with the SBA experts, our times together, our weekly calls to discuss this webinar. I just thank you for your commitment of time. And agents out there, team members out there, you've got a warrior here with you. Scott Bardulis believes in all of you. He believes in making this available for all of you. He believes in the residual plan for all of you. He believes in the product helping the customers, as do I. And folks, we're just here to make this real for you. Someone just brought up at the bottom, the disclaimer says, no income is earned unless customers are funded to capital. That was a disclaimer I pulled from the DAC capital slide. So obviously that'll be a change before the slides go live. But no one has to get funded with capital for commissions to be paid. So you're all good. Hey, thank you for your time this evening, everybody. We will be putting this recording up tomorrow. You'll be able to watch it over and over again. And I just got to tell you, I appreciate you all. Let's serve clients. Let's build giants. There's agents in your team who've been with us 5 years who've never made $500 a month, and maybe they're losing a little bit of hope. Let this be like CPR. Pull them out, plug them in, light them on fire. Appreciate y'all. God bless you all. This webinar is officially over. Thank you, Scott, and thank you everyone from the SBA team for being here. Good night, everybody.